Yo, what is up, guys? We're back. This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall On Point Reviews, all day, every day. Today, we're gonna do another PDM Dua battle or comparison, real versus clone. This is the third one now. We did Leighton, that was a big video, and then we did Herod, and now we got one that really is. I mean, the moment I saw my homeboy Jeremy get this, I said, man, put it in the cart, send it over. That's the Sedley clone. As Dua Fragrances Leedys right here. I don't know why it's a cheetah or something, or a leopard, but Leedys right here versus PDM Sedley. Now, one of the reasons too that I wanted to talk about this is because there was one guy that, you know, he was really a Sedley lover, and every time I post about Sedley, he's always there saying, I thought you hated it, and why are you still wearing it? So this video is for you too, bro. You know, real quick thing about Sedley, I mean, I like the Sedley scent, okay? And, you know, of course, I sold my bottle eventually. I have my reasons that I'll outline later. But one of the things is that I kept a 10 mil for myself. And not only that, PDM sent me a bunch of samples, a bunch of Sedley samples that this is one of them, okay? So, interesting thing, because I knew Leedys was coming, during my drive to LA from Texas, which is about 20-something hours, you know, when we stopped in Arizona, I was thinking about, man, my SOTD. I was like, man, what is the scent of the day for Arizona? And you know what? That's what I did. I pulled out the Sedley, and I know that there is that performance issue with Sedley people are talking about. And there's also the counter argument that, you know, I could just spray a lot more, right? If I spray more, then it should be better, right? So that's what I did, guys. So let me show you this vial right here. Is actually just one wearing. I just want to show you that, right? So I can, you know, compare it with Leedys right here, which is Dua. Usually Dua promises insane performance, okay? So I wore Sedley 2020. I wore this one wear, almost all of this. This was probably like 10 sprays or something like that. And immediately upon wearing Sedley, my wife complimented me. Okay, she goes, wow, what's that? That smells great. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the compliment because I know it's Sedley. Okay, Sedley smells great. But the question is, guys, how long is this 10 sprays gonna last me? Okay, and no joke, guys, probably, dude, we're not even out of Arizona yet. Okay, I don't know if that was like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours that we're, you know, from the hotel room getting ready, packing everything, putting all the stuff in the car, and then driving out of Arizona into California. I would say, guys, 2 hours, it was dead on arrival. It was DOA for sure, okay? And that's when I knew, I was like, man, now I'm really looking forward to Jeremy's package, which had Leedys, because Leedys would probably last more. And I don't, if we're wearing Leedys now, I don't have to be like, oh man, I gotta wait till 9 hours to tell these guys if it's better in performance, because as long as this guy passes 2, we're good. You know, if this guy goes at 4, then there you go, performance wise Leedys wins. But that is just, you know, my thing about Sedley. I've said this before, nothing wrong with the scent, amazing scent, guys, probably one of the best for spring summer. But man, seriously, guys, this time I wore this like this. I mean, you saw, I mean, I killed that little vial, but still in 2 hours it was pretty much gone. I mean, you know, you couldn't smell a thing. Okay, so let's talk about the notes of these. Okay, so basically, of course, you know, Dua will probably have some additives, but ultimately Sedley has mint. Okay, it has lavender, it has bergamot, orange, grapefruit, and those are like maybe pretty much the first starter notes. And then you have rosemary, cashmeran, geranium, vetiver, cedar, sandalwood, and patchouli. Okay, now what's the difference? Is there a difference? There's a difference. Okay, there's a definite difference. So when I first tried Leedys, I was like, oh shoot, this is really the scent of Sedley. I mean, Jeremy will confirm. I messaged him and I said, yo bro, it's pretty damn close. Okay, and then, but this is before I tried Sedley again, because I was like, okay, this smells like Sedley. It's somewhat like Sedley. And but is it really the same Sedley smell? So I sprayed Sedley again right here, okay, and a little bit more from my 10 ml decant, and basically I see some differences. Can you guys tell? Yeah, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay, so let's talk about the differences. This one here, the Leedys, the difference mainly is this one is an overload of basically the grapefruit. Okay, the grapefruit and the bergamot and the citruses, the orange, but mostly the grapefruit. That is the most prominent here. Once you spray Leedys, you're gonna get that citrus grapefruit blast, okay, which is so prominent. It comes first, which is is a different scenario with Sedley, because with Sedley, all those ingredients or notes, like the grapefruit and all, like they're not really that pronounced. Okay, that's why with Sedley you don't get that bitter curve. Mainly those are there, but this one has mint and lavender. Okay, mostly the lavender. It's a lavender, uplifting lavender. The mint is uplifting too, and then the citruses kind of like go with it, but they don't like overcome it. They don't really beat it out. In Leedys, basically chronologically, once you spray it, the bergamot, the orange, and the grapefruits immediately like come out and they take over first. So that's a huge difference. Okay, but again, I mean, when you're actually wearing it, when you're comparing it, you're gonna be like, oh, it's kind of like that Sedley, because there is that kind of like that bitterness, a slight bitterness with both. But here's the thing: the mint. So the mint at Leedys comes out after that. Okay, so after maybe like 15 minutes of the bergamot grapefruit combo, in comes the mint. And the mint is like, here is pronounced as well. It is like a spearmint type, comes out. And then that's when, probably within like 20 to 25 minutes, that's when this one catches up to this, okay, in terms of the scent. Because now you have the mint coming in to go with the bergamot orange grapefruit combination. Okay, now with Sedley it's a little bit different, right? Because it is uplifting all the way, the mint is uplifting all the way, and the lavender is a huge dose in this one. And the mint here is not like a spearmint either. It's almost like just like a hovering mint, and it does make the original one like pretty much fresher than this one. Like this I don't consider as fresh, this I consider as fresh. Basically fresher, it's mintier, you could say even sweeter, more lavender on the original. Okay, now the Leedys right here though, the thing about it is, I mean, you could probably say that maybe the other stuff in this, maybe ambroxans is making it not as the same, maybe more ambroxans and more additives. But this one right here also, it only takes about 20 minutes to catch up. And once it's caught up, you do have that mint come in, and then you have that mint, grapefruit combo. And this one leans more on the bitter side. It's like sweet mint bitter, okay? And that's basically like for the life of it. It's minty, it's bitter, rarely sweet, it's not really uplifting. But as I've said, within 30 minutes it's gonna start catching up. And that's what made me, like, upon spraying this, like, this Leedys the first time, I really wanted to tell Jeremy, like, man, it's kind of close, man. Probably I was gonna say 98%, until I started really like spraying it, and I was like, oh wait, I just remembered that Sedley had a much nicer intro, much fresher, much mintier. And then the Leedys, although it resembles it, is not. It's more like a bitter mint, which is again dominated by that grapefruit. Maybe there's a ton of grapefruit in here, I don't know. Now as it continues, I would say they start catching up, and that's kind of like a duo thing. Once it goes into like the dry down or the mid notes, basically Leedys starts catching up. Things start getting kind of the same, with like the vetiver, the patchouli, the sandalwood, cashmere. I mean, it starts catching up, but like, I'm not here to talk about the individual fragrances, but I'm here to tell you how it progresses and how close it is, are they to each other. Leedys, like I said, I mean, it does resemble it. That's what I can say. This one resembles Sedley. Okay? But if you're liking Sedley because it's fresher and mintier and more lavender, then maybe Sedley is your thing. But then again, Sedley again is a sadly 2 hour. I mean, that's after I sprayed a lot. And you could argue it's my skin chemistry or whatever, but the thing is, guys, in this case, I went really overboard and I oversprayed it to death. So, I mean, unless you're willing to do that, it's up to you. But for me, even when I oversprayed Sedley, it's still, gosh, 2 hours, which means I probably will still not buy a new bottle of Sedley down the road unless that gets fixed. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, mintier, fresher, lavender scent. This one is more grapefruit and more kind of like a spearmint here, but definitely bitter, curves into a non-bright, but resembles this. This catches up eventually to the Sedley, and again, cheaper. So if you would like to get something that is like a Sedley but cheaper, then there you go. Leedys is definitely your thing. Okay, now let's go into the performance of Leedys. I mean, did this absolutely go past the 2 hour mark? Yes, it did. Okay, easily. Okay, 4 hours. 4 hours. It was still there. No problem, dude. Pulsating, great sillage, great performance. I will take the performance of this over this because this one was literally gone in 2 hours. This one was still hard charging, 4 hours later. Okay, so if you're big into performance and you want something that resembles, not exactly a clone, but resembles Sedley, then maybe Leedys is your thing. Okay, I'm kind of in a bind right here. I don't know what to choose really because the Sedley would have been a great fragrance in my opinion, but it's just I don't know what's not in here that makes it not perform, but it really doesn't perform no matter what I do, so I can't force myself to that. But and then the Leedys, for example, I mean, Leedys is nice too, and if I choose the Leedys, then I get a good performer. So it's up to you guys. Maybe your skin chemistry is better than me. Okay, and to the guy that the big fan of Sedley, I understand why you are a big fan of Sedley. I mean, I would too. You know what I'm saying? The scent itself is pretty damn good, and props to Duo for trying to copy or try to get an inspiration of Sedley. Fine effort. Ultimately, I would say this is like a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of like how close it is. But is it a good alternative considering the performance? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's it. That's my quick review. Leedys and Sedley. We're gonna do Percival next, and then we just had Herod and Leighton. So make sure you guys check out those videos on my Duo playlist as well as Encounter Scents. I'm going to link it at the end of the video. That's something to really check out because those encounter scents, they're pretty powerful. Okay? And mass appealing. So check that video out. Okay? So until then, this is Troy D. I'll see you guys soon. Please like and subscribe. Peace out.